that static are being sacrificed. And that's if this stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if this stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys. All right. Hope y'all can hear me. I took my time because I was trying to find this scripture I was working on earlier. And sometimes I get to working and I got all these windows open, and then I said I need to close out these windows, and then I close out the wrong windows. So I was looking for what I was planned on talking about, but I could talk about it without it. I just like reading from the Bible. All right, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Thank you for coming to the broadcast. And we're talking about, I think the first title of the show was, I had Keep Your Mind, Your Eyes Single. That was going to be the part 2, but I think I changed the title to it. But it's along those lines about staying focused on yourself and not other people. A lot of times we get focused on, my time is going off here, fixing other people's problems. Or someone comes to us and they're telling us what they think about something, and, and we want to give our advice. This is one of those things I'm learning and working on. Let people just tell you what's going on. You don't have to always give people advice, because there's a scripture that says, don't cast your pearls amongst swine. Don't give it to, and what that means is, do not give good information to anyone who is not, we're not calling people swine. Let's get that straight. But their mindset that they have might be on the level of swine. that mindset. What do I mean by that mindset? I know I can't even you call their thought. Yes, we can have low vibrational thoughts, and that's what they're talking about when they're talking about swine, or they even mention dogs in some of the scriptures. Think about what's popular today, as far as in our community, in some of our communities. The degrading rap music. To me, that's low vibrational, swine, piggish, doggish music. But a lot of people dance and they rock with it. They want to hear that. They enjoy that entertainment. So when I say don't cast it over to those swine or dogs or anything like that, that's the mindset I'm talking about. They themselves may not be of that persuasion, but their thoughts are there. When you're listening to music that's talking about killing, raping, abusing, and drugs, and these new artists that come out, Sexy Red, I'm not sure. I guess she's the newest hot female. And you listen to the things that comes out of her mouth, that's swine. Let's call it what it is. It's trash. And it's nothing in that music that's going to upbuild you or push you in a direction that you need to go in, or you want to go in a positive direction. It's going to push you in a direction, but it's not going to push you in a positive direction. That whole music industry is designed to do one thing: destroy your consciousness, destroy your creativity as far as being positive and be an asset to your community. And it's going to also push you in the direction of doing low vibrational things, swinish, thuggish things, like going to jail. Y'all do realize that any of that music is all designed to push you off into a criminal behavior lifestyle. If it's not, you go to jail, or I guess a prostitution, whore lifestyle. Yes, that's where it's taking you. And the people that have investments in the prison system own those music industries. They are the ones who are financing that. Yes. I don't know if you saw that interview with I think it was Ice Cube. He had talked about that on Bill Murr. I'm not so sure if I'm saying his name right, that last name, but he said it. Yeah, they are the investors of those types of music. And that's the crazy thing. A lot of us know that the music is no good. It's trash, but we still want to turn it up loud in our cars and listen to it. And when we go to parties, they play it and we dance to it. It's going to affect you on some level. Some not so extreme, some very extreme. And if you're exposing that to a young mind, that is going to be a long lasting effect on that mind. Because if it's a young mind full of wanting to gain knowledge, and you're feeding that child that, you just created a career criminal, or a career, if it's a girl, a career female that wants to aspire to using her body as a tool to get what she wants. So I'm saying all this to say, when I say keep the mind eye single, it needs to be singular on positive outcomes for yourself. Positive outcomes for yourself. Give me a second. I want to get my history up here. What I was I was up all morning. I've been up since about, I think, 4:00 this morning, between studying this program that I'm coming out with. So I have to go and find what I was reading so I can. What's today? Today is the 10th, right? That was that. You know, the way I'm going to find it is, which I didn't want to do, but I'm going to have to find it this way because I was updating some stuff in camera. If Karen and Steve, if y'all listen, I did put some updates in there in the scriptures. It's Matthew chapter 7 and 7 and 8. This scripture is about consistency. That you have to be consistent in what you're doing. The first consistency is be consistent in keeping your mind focused on yourself. Singular on you, not on fixing other people, not on trying to give them your expert opinion or advice on something if it's unsolicited. Sometimes I'll give soft, unsolicited advice at times, depending on who I'm talking to, and they'll tell me something, and then I'll throw something out. But then I see it. Then if I see that reception is not really getting anywhere, I just let it go. Goes back to what I was saying, casting your information on to people who are not thankful for it. You see? So let me pull this up and I'll read it. Because I had it all prepared, ready to go. I had it up here, boom, boom, and then I started messing around and got to forget. And here it is. Here it is. And this goes to consistency. It says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. So I remember I told you guys a story a long time ago about, well, it's been not so long ago, about how I asked for the truth and I got it. And I remind you, when you're asking for the truth, be ready. Just be ready. Put whatever you got mentally or consciously to be prepared for that hard truth. Because a lot of times most times when the truth is coming at you, it's not going to look like some fantasy you conjured up in your mind that it should be. You do realize we conjure up these fantasies of what we think something should be or how it should be or expect it to be. And then when the truth comes at us, it comes at us raw and uncut. Because why? The truth is just what it is. The truth. It can be nothing else but the truth. And the truth takes into consideration the angles that you're not looking from. See, no matter how much we try to say we're objective and we're not biased, we are biased by our own belief systems and what we think is right and wrong. And a lot of times what we think is right and wrong has a filter on it, meaning it is filtered by how we were brought up and influences that we exposed ourselves to. So all of those skew our vision into thinking we know what the truth is. Right? Like even scientists don't know what the full truth for how stuff is. They're guessing. They what you call hypothesizing of what they think it is. They say, well, this plant, you put the seed in the ground. All they know for a fact is if I take a let's just say I want to grow watermelon. I take a watermelon seed, put it in the ground, water it. It's going to come out to be a plant and eventually it will grow watermelons. Those are facts, right? That's the facts. But now when we get into the intricate detail, well, what about this seed? The details of this seed that causes it, when it's activated by soil and water, makes that plant comes out. Those little details. And what are the components of the plant and the seed and all of these other little things? They don't know all of that. They don't know all of the details. Why don't they know all of the details? Because they didn't create that. See, only the creator knows the details of how everything works. So when you ask the creator for the truth, he's going to give it to you as it was created, how it is. Not what you created it to be, but how it is. And that's why it says, keep asking and it will be given to you. Keep seeking and you will find. Who are you asking? See, a lot of us are asking people that didn't create nothing or have the experience in what we're trying to do. Or we're taking our ideas and giving them to people. Hey, this is my great idea. Guess what? What do you think? Here's my suggestion. Before you go to anyone with any great idea, ask yourself, if I give this information to this person or tell this person, is this the person I need to be sharing this with? What are their background? What are their experiences that qualifies them to have this divine idea that was given to you? No, you're supposed to go to the Father and ask these questions. Not your pastor, not me. You're supposed to go straight to the source of the creation. Like I said, scientists only hypothesize on how they think stuff should work. They really don't know. Why? Because they're totally in the dark. They are ignorant. They weren't there at the source, at the origination of the creation. They weren't there. But here's the great part. God was there at the origination of your creation, so he encoded you with all the answers in you. So the only place you need to be looking is within yourself, where God is. That's it. There's no other place for you to look. Where's my I can't see my chat. Give me 1 second. I'm a chat. Pull it up. There you go. I'll get you. I see some questions down there in the chat. So let's go back to the scripture again. I want to read it again. It says, keep asking. So that means you have to be persistent, insistent. See, God is not impatient with you. See, you keep asking somebody else, they're going to get tired. You keep asking me, I'm going to get tired and be like, yo, you done asked me that question before. And anybody that's been in my group have heard me say that. But the God in you don't get tired of that, wanting to answer your questions. That's why that should be the first place. See, my only job is to teach you how to rely on yourself and the God in you to get all your answers. That's what I'm building on. I'm not trying to build on people who don't want to put that work in and see what's the truth is about themselves. That's not the crowd I'm catering to. I'm catering to the divine beings out there. Everyone's a divine being, but just some people just not ready to walk in that role. But the ones that are ready to walk in the role of expressing their divinity, there's only one place that you can go to find it, and that's within yourself. No book. The books that I read just enhance the divinity in me. They resonate with that divinity in me. So I need to go there to the source. That's where the power is. That's why I sometimes I'll quote that song, let this little light of mine shine. Let it shine, that big light. They did from a little to a big light. You are nothing but light. Light is a allegory or a symbolism for truth. Because what happens? The light shines in the darkness to expose what's there. Expose the truth. That's the symbolism light represents. Being in darkness represents not knowing the truth. You kind of, I don't know what's here. Keep seeking and you will find. Keep knocking and the door will be open to you. For everyone who keeps asking receives. He who keeps seeking finds. And to him who keeps knocking, the door will be open. And just a little side note. Those of you who are in sales, this is an excellent scripture to study. Because if you keep knocking, seeking, you're going to get that customer. And let me just be clear. All of us are in sales in some form of fashion. Whether outright or incognito, we are in sales. Because one thing a lot of us are doing, what we're doing every day, we're trying to sell ourselves to people or into a situation to be accepted into. One of the main sources or situations where we try to sell ourselves is to a person we're trying to date. At first date, you come in with your best or what you believe is your best. You might believe it's your best, but that person might not find it to be your best. You come in with your best. You say you're choosing all your words very carefully. And for all you ladies, you dressing up, putting all the makeup on and, put the smell good on. Make sure that those curves are popping. Yeah. Brothers, you might, freshen up your breath, get shaved up, get a nice cut, get a nice line. If you really have something, going for yourself and you feel like, you want to make the best representation, or like job interviews. What do? You dress up. Get the very best impression. We're all in sales. We're selling something at all times for the most part. And when I hear people say, I'm not good in sales, and then I say, have you ever had a girlfriend or boyfriend? Yes, well, then you good at sales because you got somebody to believe in you enough to date you. You're good in sales. Just take that energy, that thought process that you use to gain the approval of that person and use it in this situation. Like, think about it. When you thought about it, you're like, what can I do to impress them? Make sure I don't look crazy. You put a lot of thought in it. But back to the lesson. For everyone who keeps asking, receives. So if you keep asking, you're going to get it. If you keep pursuing that project, that business, it's going to be successful. That's why I keep telling people, be consistent. Tell you all the time, I will take consistency over talent any day. I don't care what you know, how you know, whatever you know. But if you don't have consistency, you are no good to yourself or anything. There's plenty. I could give you plenty of examples of people who have great talent, who can do a lot, but they weren't consistent. Like, there's artists out there, very good sounding voice, very good talent. But what ruined their career? Inconsistency, showing up to events late. People get tired. People paying their money. They're not going to pay this, have you come an hour, 2 hours late. And then only put on a 30, 45-minute show. That's what you need, consistency. Because with the consistency, guess what? Over time, you'll be better than the person with the talent. Why? Because you have practiced over and over again. When I played my guitar, I was practicing it this morning. There's one piece I guess I struggled because I wasn't consistently practicing. So this morning I said, I'm going to consistently practice this piece. And I only knew maybe couple of measures. Now I know most of the song. Because what did I do? My teacher said, this is what you want to do. Do you want to consistently practice the right way? So some things where I was stuck, I went and made notes where I was stuck at and put little notations so that when I got to that point, I knew what to do. I followed his instructions. Boom. I know most of the piece now. And that was just a matter of 45 minutes of practicing. I wrote it down. I said, okay, this is what I need. It took my time. So I got up around 4. I went from getting up, preparing for this show. Then I was studying the trucking. Then I was studying music. When you think about it, when you get, this is what I'm talking about, being consistent. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got a lot of things done before 10 o'clock this morning. And I pretty much, okay, if I want to just chill for the rest of the day, guess what? I can, because I did my goals mostly for the day and some extra stuff. Once you put a plan in place and write stuff and start doing stuff and be consistent, you'll realize you will not have to spend all day doing anything. You'll realize that. But when you have nothing planned and you fill in the gaps of your non-planning with procrastination, you'll realize you won't get anything done. It doesn't take all day to keep your plan in order. So all the suggestions I gave you guys over the last couple of weeks ago, I did all of those in just a few hours. And that's in between me feeding the dog, taking the dog for the walk, come back, and doing about 6 minutes worth of exercises. Physical exercise. I'm not bragging. I'm just like, when I really sit there and think about what I did this morning since the time I got up this morning, I got a lot accomplished. But when I don't have a plan in place, I don't get a lot accomplished and I realize, the time's going by. I'm like, I done wasted. I procrastinated. Man, see, I got to stay consistent with that. Getting up early and just jumping right in. So be consistent. Keep knocking. Keep asking. Keep seeking. He said, he who keeps seeking finds. That's a very important phrase. Seek good knowledge. Seek getting to know yourself. Know who you are first. Know who you are. And these are the things we should have been taught as a child. You need to know who you are. Because if you teach a child from that perspective, that aspect about knowing themselves, and they will be far ahead of a lot of the adults today. We don't start seeking and trying to know ourselves after we done lived this fabricated life, 9 to 5s, getting up every day, dredging and clocking in, clocking out, because we decided to live a life that we were encouraged to live by our parents and our parents before them, and societal norms. We really don't start trying to figure out who we are until after we done got ourselves neck deep in the rat race. And by that time, it's going to take a while to get out of that mentality. Even though I'm so far removed from it, my mentality is still being worked on when it comes to that. But those of you who are about to have children, I would suggest you start from that space, teaching your child how to get to know themselves. Who are you? Why are you here? What are your inspirations? Teach them how to study properly. See, the stuff we've been given to study from the moment we entered public educational system, was all information to distract us into a life of poverty and desperation and depression. That's what it's designed to do, to keep you dependent. Because even when I see people, oh, I want to do, I don't want to do this, but I don't know how. I don't know what to do. And they go out and they look for people to tell them what to do, as if they didn't do that all their life. You've already been doing that, asking people what to do or allowing people to tell you what to do, and you screwed up now. So now you're going to go find some other person to tell you what to do that's going to lead you down the path. I need to read that book, Buddha, because that was kind of what he went through. He went to all of these people asking him for enlightenment. And he realized the source of enlightenment was sitting right there inside him. All he had to do was sit down and meditate. And he figured out the truth. A lot of your answers are coming to you or will come to you if you just sit down and close off everything, shut it down, and just be quiet and become at peace with yourself. Drink a cup of tea that will relax you and just ask for the truth. Whatever that is. Hey, I need the truth on how to get out of this job and do something that I really love to do and make a lot of money at it. How? Show me the truth to that matter. Watch. The answer will come. It'll if you sit there long enough, it's gonna actually answer you back. That God in you will talk to you. Which our psychology just would try to say you're a crazy person because you hear voices in your head. No, that voice in your head is there for a reason. It's there to guide you. That guardian angel that that people talk about is there. And it's a whisper. Yeah, do this. That's it right there. Here's the truth. Or it's the whisper of the idea. This happens to me so much, it's almost normal. Well, it is normal. But some of y'all are hearing the voice and don't know how to interpret if that's the voice or not. As soon as you hear the voice, you start questioning. What do you mean? Well, how does that work? And then you want to know all the intricacies. And if you study the Bible, God just told people, go over here. I need you to be over here for now. I want you to go do this for now. And then the plan was rolled out later on. The real plan. Some of these ideas you're only going to get the first step. So take the first step, and then the next step comes, and then the next step. Then next, it's like a snowball effect. It's just grows into this big idea. But you got to take the first step first. And some of you are working on the first step still from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Still on that first step. Talking about, I want it all perfect. I want it right. I want this. I want that. I want that. No, it's not about what you talking about and what you want. It's all about the idea that you got. You need to move with it. You need to put some aspect of that idea out there. No one has proven me wrong yet with that. No one has proven me wrong. Everyone I hear that from has not proven me wrong, that I was wrong when I said, just move. Now, people have proven me right, because the ones that just didn't, they had just the idea, it was a bare bones thing, and they ran with it, and they just put it out there. A year later, they're better off than when they started. And I watched them improve over time. See, a real leader and a real teacher is not looking for perfection. A real leader and a teacher is looking for the willingness to do something without knowing that it may not work. that first time out, knowing that it may fail, knowing that it's going to need improvement over time, knowing that. See, that's what a real leader and a teacher will teach you. It's okay. Do it. See, a real leader would say, go. Get out there. Do it. If you're real serious about it, go do it. See, your fake teachers will tell you, no, they'll hold you back. Nah, you ain't ready yet. You ain't ready yet. When I already know, in order to be ready, you got to practice it. And sometimes practice, you have to be in the live action, in the moment. Get it to learn it. Yeah. So I could teach somebody how to sell in the classroom all day long. But until they're dealing with real customers, that's where the real learning is going to come. I learned how to cut here in a classroom setting, surrounded around my peers were all learning just like me, and only best teacher that knew how to cut here was the instructor. But we all know that we learn from our peers more than we learn from the instructor, right? So I was one of the best in the school, but I wasn't the best in barbering when I got into a professional setting of guys who have been cutting different customers here every day for 5+ years. Me, I had 9 months of school. But how did I get better? I was placed in a professional environment with barbers that were better than me. That was my first shop. Then the second shop, I owned the second shop. But then it was another shop. I was good. Then I went into this other shop where those barbers was better than the first shop that I went into. And I got better that way. See, so that means that the only way you get better is through actual live application of whatever you're doing. So that's when I tell y'all, if y'all thinking about creating some type of content, get something ready, prepare it, do it a little bit and put it out there. And go watch yourself on that screen or whatever it is. Go watch yourself. And guess what? That God in you is going to tell you what you need to improve on too, as well as your following. See, what most people don't realize, today we got so much people being fake. There's so much fakeness going on. To come across some content where it may not be all this professional fanfare and all of that, it may not be all of that, but you could tell the honesty and the dedication in that person, and just that alone will get people to follow you. Just that right there. People will want to hear from you just because you're being truthful. And you gotta expose yourself. You gotta let people know you got issues too. I got issues too that I work through. Why am I able to talk like this? Because I got issues that I need to work through. So most the stuff I'm talking about is actual issues that I've worked through or am working through. You let a pastor get up there and tell you he ain't got no problems. Shoot, they're the ones with the biggest problems and the biggest challenges. Why? Because they out here on the front street trying to tell you how to live, and then that very thing that they're telling you how to live out, they're gonna get challenged by that. Okay, you wanna show if you're gonna practice what you preach, bro. So, what's in the chat? Let's see. Let's go over to the chat. So LV Love says peace. Rashawn Bay says peace and prosperity. C King Bay says peace, everyone. Indie Circus says peace, my brother. Peace back to you. So let's read this one. It says, a song that's played at a lot of black family events like reunions is from Maze called Before I Let Go. We dance and party to it, and the song is about breaking up. Missed the whole message of it. The song is about, okay. Um, yeah, I know that song. I don't know the words, but I know parts of it. I have to go see those lyrics. Yeah, and that a lot of people dance to that. They do their that, I guess the line dancing or the group dancing thing with that song. The truth always causes an offense to him that received it. Yes, it does. I have never asked for the truth. All the times I've asked you the truth, it always came with a hard hitting blow to the gut, and then I had to lay down or just mentally relax and say, okay, it's not that serious. Just don't take offense. Just go back. Why did they come at me? Then I realized there was some fault in how I saw something where I thought was the truth, but this was actually the truth. Oh. But the offense should bring about correction. And then Mad Max 3 says, peace. How do you feel about R&B love music? Sometimes I feel like I get messages from God through R&B love songs, old and new. I'm all ears. I don't have anything. I think music as a whole is good. But a lot of our R&B music, as of lately, I would say 10 plus years, it's about breaking up. Or if it's a female singer, she's singing how someone did her wrong. And it's very few artists singing positively about love and nurturing a loving relationship. Most of the songs is on the negative side of breaking up and not getting along and things like that. And guess what? Those are the songs that become popular. I remember when Jill Scott came out with her first album, a lot of her songs was about relationships, how much she loved her man. She had a few in that first album that was on the negative side, but most of her stuff was about nurturing her relationship with the man she was thinking about. And that was to me, that was one of the better albums in a while. And India.Arie came out with some very positive songs. And you notice those artists that try to stay positive in their music, we don't make them popular or keep them popular. So what does that say about our consciousness as a people? That we will take gangster rap and degrading, sexually debased music, and that becomes the between number 1 and 5 on the charts. But the stuff that nurtures and encourages our relationships to thrive, they're at the bottom. That tells you something. That tells you that spiritually as a people, we are all messed up. Because we want the low vibrational garbage in it to entertain us more than we want the things that's going to keep our families together, keep our economy. You know that if the family stays together, the economy stays intact. If the family stays together, the economy of that community will be solid. So do you understand what's happening? That the worst music is being promoted just to destroy you, to destroy your economy, to keep you at the low, to keep you the borrower and not the lender. It's all a psychological play on your mental resources. Because where everything starts is in the mind. And those of us listen to you, you can't, now that you hear me say it, and I'm sure other people have said it, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, you're going to be unpopular in that house. You start turning off that music. Oh, yes. But I'm talking to the men. You're going to have to make that a mission in your homes to promote positive imagery, music in your home. Take the lead. Now, unfortunately, in my house, we don't really listen to those types of music. We've never been, as a family, we don't have that problem for the most part. I mean, a couple of things here and there that but for the most part, we don't listen to that stuff. Like, that's why when people tell me stuff, I be like, oh, what was that? Like, when I saw the whole Sexy Red come across the screen, that was new to me. I'm like, what is this? Really this chick talking about this stuff? And somebody said, oh, they think love music kept us men from focusing on getting money. And then he said R&B was propaganda. You know what? I would have to tend to agree with that to a degree, because as a man, first of all, as a man, our priority in relationships is not love. It's respect. That's our love thing. If you respect us, we think you love that. We equate that with love, right? So for a man to focus on love does take him off of his mission as a man. Focus on that. Yes, is a man supposed to show love and care towards his woman and his family? Yes. But his focus is mainly on what? Whatever he's doing, he's being honorable and being respectful, and then he's teaching that to his family. Protecting, providing, and providing guidance. So if a man is all gaga gooey and trying to look for all of that, yeah, he ain't operating out of the realm of true masculinity, real masculinity. Yeah, I'll have to I get your point on that. When you really look deep at that, I get it. Well, all music is propaganda. I don't care what genre you're listening to. Most of it's propaganda in some way, because these artists get on there and they speak their messages through their music, and they use that music to promote certain agendas and stuff like that. This is why we got kids confused about who they want to be, because the music is confusing them. Our public education system is confusing them. On one hand, you can't, if you were to show a child pornography, you go to jail. But the schools are showing pornography to these young kids as young as the first grade, showing homosexual sex acts in their books, or even talking about it. This is story time. They're having cross-dressers and what do you call those? Drag dressers, drag queens coming to school to do story time. See? Anything that has to do with the world agenda, worldly mindset, is always going to be something that is going to be opposite to what you were created to be and what God wants for you, period. And we must know that. So what is it, 10:54? Let me see something here. I want to check something before I shut it down. Oh, that's the title. It was Break Free from Your Mental Constraints. I could kind of I had so much in my mind. Yeah, and that's it. One of your mental constraints is just yourself. What you're exposing your consciousness to. who you exposing yourself to and who are you. Like, I remember when it came to money, I had this certain perspective on it, and then someone said something to me and made me realize how I was speaking about money was really limiting my ability to make a lot of money. And then instead of being offended, I sat there and I said, well, this person is telling me, how do they live? And they were living pretty good. I said, well, something must be to that. That's how I operate. Whoever's talking to me and telling me something, I look past with their words and look at what's happening, what they actually showing me as an example through their example. It's not their words that's important to me. It's what their example, real life example is that's important to me. That's why I tell you guys, when y'all hearing all this stuff, why don't you just do some research and verify what that would being said. You'll get the answer. And I looked past and I realized that person had a point. That I was limiting how much money I made by my false misinterpretation of money. What I believe to be correct. And that's what takes that you have to seek truthful knowledge. Last week, people were coming to me about this new Corporate Transparency Act, which the act is not really. They've been trying to get this act going for years, and they just was fine-tuning it. Now it's finally they're going to implement it next month. And then, people even made videos that said what you should do. But when you look at the rule is not all that big of a deal. 23 entities are exempt from that. And I already went over this with my people in my premium group. We've already had this discussion. I'll talk about it on Tuesday in depth. I'll pull out the law and go over that on Tuesday. All right. Today I will be making the flyer for the prosperity ritual. So today I will get that up and send that email out. And with the instructions that you need. And with that, let's see what the chat is saying here before I go. Before I shut it down. Somebody said, Maya said, who you associate with, like you mentioned yesterday or 2 days ago, is very important too. What we accept is truth, which is not. Yes, all that's important. So that means you have to guard your mind, your thoughts. You got to be vigilant with that. You can't leave that to chance. Because next you know, you caught up with, that's why I tell you, like, I have friends that have jobs and stuff like that. And I enjoy their company. But I also realize I cannot do that all the time. Because guess what? I'll start thinking about having a job. Thinking that's easier. Why would I do that? Because I started off that way and I'll default back there. That's the story of the person sweep the house clean and then those demons come back and see that it's clean and he brings back 7 more demons. That's what happens. If you don't stay focused, you'll get yourself all prepped to be successful in whatever thing you're trying to endeavor outside of that rat race. But if you don't keep yourself on track and they come back, hey, it's empty over here, and it's going to come back on you in a vengeance. And you end up back on the job somewhere, which I've seen people do that. Why? Because they didn't stay consistent in the project or whatever it is they said they wanted for themselves to be self-employed. They associate or have associated with people. Not most of their friendships are people with jobs. So they go back to where they started from. I've seen it happen like science. I promise you that's what will happen. Yeah, you might become successful and get out of the rat race. You might. You could do, I'm sure you can. But if you do not surround yourself with other people that don't have jobs and keep that as your main circle, you will end up right back there no matter what you're doing with that business you're doing. Because somehow those energies will seep into you and attach to you, and you'll find an excuse why to go back over there. This is why I stay with the number one self-employed person that I know. Me. I hang out with me. So that means most of the time, I'm by myself. Because you already know that, entrepreneurship is very few and far. And some of the entrepreneurs that I do know, they're doing other things, and maybe their mindset is not aligned with where I'm at. So I'm good. And that's what caused me to love myself more and more, because I spend more time with myself. And that there, you have to be ready for that as well, because the reason why I say that is because you'll get so comfortable with being by yourself, you don't want to do nothing else. You don't want to hang out, because you'll start to, you hear these mundane conversations, these conversations that people are talking about. First off, you're clueless because they'll be talking about the news. And then you're like, oh, I get into situations where I go out. Sometimes I'll be ready to go back home. You'll become a recluse. I'm telling you. Why do you think Jesus always tried to get off by himself after he done taught a lesson? Let me get, I got to get this energy. I gotta go recharge. And sometimes I just enjoy being by myself. I don't have to be out in another country or out in the street, just at my desk, reading and studying. I get comfortable with that. Sometimes I have to check myself. But anyway, hey, do me a favor, everybody. I really appreciate those who get on this broadcast and support the station. But I'm gonna ask you for a favor. It's 13 people on, but we only have 7 thumbs up. If you like it, do the thumbs up. If you don't like it, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't give you the right information. Hit the thumbs up and share the video. That's how YouTube works. When you share it, you put the thumbs up, and it gets more people traction on the channel. So I appreciate those that will do that. I appreciate everyone who enjoyed it. Or if you didn't enjoy it, I still appreciate that you came on. And until next time, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. You guys have a good and productive day. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.